Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Mdletshe, and on this channel siyasibuka ama reality shows ethu ala Mzansi bese sizala sokhuluma ngawo lama shows siyaphinda futhi sikhulume ngama reality shows ethu ala eMzansi kanye nama YouTubers. If it's your first time joining us today and you really like our content, there is a subscribe button la ngezansi and also a notification bell if you want to get notifications when we post new work. Also, there's a join button if you want to join as a member, and there's a thanks button if you want to donate to the channel. Thanks to everybody that has joined and everybody that has donated, and thanks to everybody that watches adverts on this channel. Guys, today I am not really going to do a full review of this particular interview, but I'm going to talk about certain issues that people have spoken about. Abayibukile interview go Owamie of Owamie Entertainment that she did on the podcast called the Illegal Podcast. If you haven't watched that interview, you can go watch it so that maybe you can better understand a commentary that I'm going to make on this particular video. I wasn't going to do the full review, and I'm not going to do that full review. But a few people did ask me, did say they would like to hear what my opinion is, because there are people that had an issue with one or two of the interviewers. I think there were 3 guys that were interviewing her, because I think one person we could not see his face. Sometimes they will be speaking, the camera will be facing one guy, and I couldn't figure out if it's the other guy that is speaking or the other one. But the Zulu guys were there, okay? And it seems like Lago YouTube, they have nominated me to come and defend ama Zulu. Ngama questions abuzwe lawo baba ilabo body labayana based on the fact that they are Zulu. The first time that I came across the interview, I listened to the interview a little bit, and I think I got irritated a little bit by the questions that they were asking Owamie, and I'll watch some other time. Also, I looked at the length of the interview, because I think it's like over 1.5 hours. So it was an interview that I needed time to sit down and watch. Okay, first of all, before anything else, we need to take a moment of silence, because Queen Ninja was looking really beautiful in that interview. So we will take a few moments of silence, because she was looking on point. Okay, and also, you guys, she looked very prepared. She was very articulate. Interview layer English was left outside the door. You know, she picked it up when she left the interview. She picked up the English, because there was no Englishing at all in that interview. She looked like she was prepared. I do not think that she knew the questions that they were going to ask. It didn't feel that way, but it still felt like she was really ready for that interview. She was not intimidated at all by the people that were interviewing her. And I do feel like even the questions that we had as a viewer, felt uncomfortable listening to those questions. It didn't feel like she was as uncomfortable as it made us feel as the viewers. So she did very well in that interview. I don't feel like also that she was offended by the interview, because when I went back today to watch the rest of the interview, she is in the comment section all positive and saying that she really enjoyed that interview. So I do feel like it's us, the viewers, that have an issue with certain questions that were asked, but she does not have that same issue. Number one, you guys, the first thing that I had an issue with was that one of the guys says to her at some point, ask her a question, and usebenzisa ulimi lwesiZulu. He uses Zulu, you guys. And obviously Owamie is like, you know what, I'm gonna have to ask you to speak English, because you are speaking a very deep Zulu. I do not understand you, you know. Number one, you guys, if you call somebody to your platform, if I call somebody here on my channel to interview them, I have to accommodate them. They do not have to explain to me why they do not. And if they say they don't understand Zulu, that's the end of it. I'm speaking English so that they can understand me, because they have come to my platform. Also understand who you have brought to your platform. This is not Ntando with 6,000 subscribers, with 7,000 subscribers. This is Owamie of Owamie Entertainment, over 200,000 subscribers. So I felt like that was unnecessary necessary for him to say, "I look," because she said, "Please speak English so that I can understand. I can understand this Zulu a little bit, but you are speaking deep Zulu. Please speak English." And the guy was like, "But I am Zulu, maZulu." Iyekeni lento yokubanga ukuthi wonke umuntu umZulu. Iyekeni lento you are more important. Language yet is more important than other people. We live in South Africa. There's so many African people that speak other African languages, and it was even worse in this situation because it was their platform. And if your guest is saying they do not understand your language, you should have apologized and say, "Listen, I'm Zulu, so sometimes I just refer to my language, but don't worry, I'm going to speak English." I did not understand that about when he said that, but it seemed to me that Owamie took that very well. They worked on that, and moving forward, they understood each other. At some point, this guy also asked her, "So you were married to a Zulu man for over 9 years, but you still don't understand isiZulu?" Yo guys, I wanted to become something. In that, for that moment, I wanted to be Umswati or Umxhosa or whatever, and just not be Umzulu, because I'm like, the thing is, chances are wherever big guy is right now, I can bet you he cannot speak Isvenda. I can bet you that he cannot speak his vein. Whatever it is that they decided in their household that they were going however that they decided in their household that they were going to communicate, whether it was English or whatever, they understood each other because they lived with each other for 9 years. If Owamie didn't learn Zulu or learn a little bit of Zulu, and big guy also learn a little bit of Isivenda, I don't feel like it should be that big thing. You were married to a Zulu guy. Why didn't you learn Zulu? Because Owamie does speak a little bit of Zulu. I felt like that guy was just looking for something azoitola to say, you did not make a good enough effort in your marriage. Being married to a Zulu guy, you should have learned at least to speak his language. The question for me would be, wherever big guy is, can he speak Isivenda? Then again, we will take it from there. Those type of questions, guys, I found them to be unnecessary. I one day posted on my status and I say, every time a Zulu man starts a sentence with "Ngiyindoda yomZulu," you must stand up, go uyothatha amaphilisi akhe BP, now hi, drink them, go take a nap before you listen to the next thing that is gonna come after he says, "I am a Zulu man." Because trust me, 90% of the time, whatever that he's gonna say is the nonsense ezokunyusela iBP. It's very rare that after they say something like that, they're gonna say something that is relevant nowadays. Bazokusho into nje ebhekwazi kakhulu. So I already knew when he said phela mina ngendoda yomZulu ukuthi sizodila with a lot of questions that are not necessary when it came to that interview. I feel like it helped ukuthi Owamie's attitude was the way that it was. It helped Uguti. She was not intimidated. She looked very prepared. So she took those questions very well. But overall in the interview, there are times in the interview where I feel like these guys are wanting to almost paint a picture, which I don't think that they were successful in doing. They wanted to paint a picture of Owamie went into the relationship with a big guy poor, or went into a relationship with a big guy unsuccessful, and she didn't have anything at the time, and that is the reason that the relationship worked. And then when she became successful, she felt like a big guy was not good enough, as if it was Owamie's fault that he was feeling that way, as if it was Owamie's fault that he wasn't as successful, as if there is something wrong with a woman working hard to become successful. Like, it's like now you have to watch your man who's okay, who's successful kangaga, let me just go this, and then give me in the arts, and then if you have a guy that is just standing in the same place and not working hard to achieve things as you are growing, because guys, when you get in a relationship, you might be in the same level in terms of finances and all of that, but you both of you should be working hard to improve yourselves. And if one person is working and the other one is working, there's gonna be a time value where financially you're not gonna be in the same level, and you can't blame the person that has made it for the one that hasn't made it. Even if the one that hasn't made it, you can't now say that this one is responsible for making this one feel better about the situation. They are supposed to work on themselves and understand that I used to be with a woman that was on this level. They have grown now. So what do I do? Do I stay here and just understand that I'm with the person that has improved and grown now? Or do I work on myself too so that we are on the same level? Why should it be a woman's fault that now, because she makes so much money, she must make a man more comfortable? Why can't a man be the one to say, listen, this woman is no longer the woman that I dated when I first met her. She's in another level. What do I do to get to that level? But at the same time, I want to correct this thing, Yoguti. It's because Zulu, guys, because there's a lot of Zulu. I am with a Zulu man. I am with a Zulu man, so I already know that is not something that I can say, they don't want them to be more successful than them. They don't want you to work. They don't want you to start businesses. That is not true, you guys. It's an individual thing. It has nothing to do with ukuba Zulu. This guy even went on to say, his grandfather taught him, he is the head of the family. He is the one that should provide. What does that have to do with a woman? Because if as a man you are taught that, as a woman, when I come into a relationship with you, then you must already know how to work hard and be the provider in the family and be the one that, if you were taught you're the one that should earn more, then earn more. Why should I be the one that has to dim my light so that you feel like you can provide, you feel like you are the head of the family? I feel like it almost felt like at some point in the interview they wanted to present that picture, but I do not feel like, guys, they were successful. The questions, some of them were very irritating. The questions, some of them were very irrelevant. I didn't feel that they were necessary, but I do feel like in a way that at the end of the interview, I felt like for the most part they understood her. She was very much able to articulate how she feels about the situation, how she feels about her divorce. And a lot of the things that she was saying in that interview is the things that she has said a lot of the times when she's talking about, when she's doing story times on her divorce, story times on how their relationship worked, how their marriage worked, the fall of their relationship, how their finances were, and how big guy was not good with money, and what happened when she started to earn more. It's things that we have heard on her channel. So I didn't feel like she was giving any new information, but I felt like there were times where it felt like she needed to explain herself more, because it felt like the purpose was to create a certain picture, like, oh yes, so you dated big guy when he didn't have money and you didn't have money and he supported you, and when you started making money you dropped him. But I didn't feel like she failed in defending herself. She explained the situation very well, so it went well. Am I irritated that that guy just referred to him being Zulu so that he could justify asking nonsense question? Of course, because I was like, guys, this is not a Zulu thing. A jack is a jack is a jack. But to being irritated, honestly, I feel like every time that a relationship doesn't work between a woman and a man, regardless of what if a woman is more successful and a man is not, that is always going to be made to be the reason that the relationship was not successful. And if the woman is the one that is successful, it's always going to be, oh yeah, just because now she was successful, now she didn't want to, whatever, and then she was looking down at a man and whatever. And that's what even families do, and that is not the case. Listen, if you're with a woman that is out here going after her dreams, you should be going after your dreams too, and making sure that you stay woke, because then one day you're going to find yourself with your ego bruised because your woman is making more than you. But that is not going to be the woman's fault. It's going to be your fault if you are sitting down doing nothing. I do not like it when women are blamed for the falling of a relationship just because they became more successful in the relationship. What were they supposed to do? So am I supposed to look at my man and say, okay, if enzu 2 rand, mina ngenzu 3 rand, it's ngilinde kancane enzu 4 rand, nami ke bese ngithi. Life doesn't work that way, you know. Work hard now so that you can be in the same level as a woman and you don't feel intimidated and you don't feel small and you don't feel like your ego is getting bruised all the time when you have to do izinto endlini. That's what I feel. Overall, the interview was a good interview. If it wasn't for those questions that they were asking that I felt like were not relevant. But anyway, you guys, that is my opinion on this whole thing. I think the interview was a great interview. I really do think that it was a great interview overall. I think someone else might have been thrown off by the questions, but she definitely wasn't. Anyway, you guys, please go and watch the interview. It's called Illegal Podcast. And I think a lot of the people that support Owamie have already seen the interview. It was a great interview. I was watching it earlier on today, and it really, it's entertaining. It's entertaining, but it's a repetition of a lot of things that she has said on her channel as well. So, but it's a great interview to listen to. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what you thought about this interview in the comment section, and like this video before Mpumege, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ntando kakhulu.